Well, hello, and welcome back to Crafting Cars. We're happy to have you with us. Sports cars, we all love them. They're great for going fast, having fun, and they seem to get a lot of attention from other dudes. But one thing that's becoming all too common with sports car owners is making sacrifices to the interior in search of a faster lap time, maybe faster quarter mile time. And that often starts in the trunk, which was once a great place to haul your groceries, maybe haul some spare tools to the track, often becomes a dark metal cave with maybe a couple loose nuts floating around in there. But what if we could find a perfect balance between form and functionality? That's exactly what we're going to be doing today on part 12 of the Hurricane NSX build. First things first, let's finish up the wiring from the part 10 episode. If you guys remember, we were missing the turn signal sockets, but guess what just came in the mail? And although the wiring in the part 10 episode was a little tedious and painful, the work paid off, as now installing these Deutsch connectors has become second nature. Nice. To continue our theme of function and form, we're going to be replacing the factory power antenna unit that's heavy and also corroded from the saltwater flood with this new unit from our guys over at Mita Motorsports Japan. It's a factory, low profile, lightweight antenna, and it looks like they sent us some gloves to help with the install. Oh, and they fit perfect. Now, if the owner is interested in using the antenna for radio in the future, we're going to have to save this top portion of the antenna with the antenna connector there. And I'm going to be continuing to use this weatherproof boot as well. And that should be everything we need to get this thing installed on the car. I really like it. It looks sharp and remains functional. Now, can you really call your build a race car if it doesn't have a dedicated fuse and relay panel? I don't think so. So to make this panel, I wanted to make sure it stayed lightweight. We wanted to keep it in the trunk right next to the battery. So I thought, hey, maybe we'll make it out of carbon. Well, I got a carbon panel here and it would be perfect, but carbon's a pretty good conductor of electricity. So that plus our heavy gauge wires doesn't really mix. Luckily, I found this. This is made by Science of Speed. It's made of a high-density polyethylene plastic that's air-injected. I've never seen a material quite like it, but it's pretty cool. It's got a nice textured black surface, and it's extremely light. Now, these little heat certs that we didn't end up using for our battery hold down will actually be perfect for creating threaded holes on this panel. It looks like this is going to work out slick for installing our Safety Hub 150. This is from Blue Sea Systems, and they specialize in marine applications. You can see even the container is waterproof, so if this thing finds itself in another hurricane or flood or anything like that, we're going to be good to go. Now, this is what I'm going to be using for our basic power distribution. Power will go straight from the battery to this terminal here, and then you can distribute it through large size fuses out these 4 terminals, or your standard size fuses out of these terminals. It also provides a bus for your ground distribution, which will be perfect since we're using a star point grounding system. You'd be surprised how many things in the car actually require 12 volt. I know I was. Of course, you got things like your clock, your radio memory, your ECU even has memory, our Haltech PD16 has memory. There's going to be a BMW ABS module in here, and you got things like your amplifiers. There's a lot of stuff. I'm also going to mount up this little guy right here. This is a mega fuse holder, and I'm actually going to be using it to fuse our starter motor. Some people like to fuse their starter motor, some people don't, but I don't think it hurts. Heaven forbid anything happens to that starter motor or it short circuits. I don't want that short circuit coming back to the battery. And we got ourselves a nice set of Fastronics battery terminals with matching covers. Now we're going to make ourselves some power cables. I picked up this crimper for larger gauge wire. I've never used this style before, but people seem to really like them, and they're significantly cheaper than hydraulic crimpers. And there you have it. Now this is some pretty nice quality 6-gauge wire from wirecare.com. And I think it's worth it to spend a little bit of extra money to make sure you get some quality battery cables. They have a lot more copper strands in them, which means they're not going to be so brittle over time, and they have really good flexibility. So if you're the kind of guy that's pretty anal about how all your wiring works, this stuff's really nice because you can kind of bend it and shape it to look really clean. And more copper strands in the wire means that much more cross-sectional area, which just makes it a little bit safer to run high amperage circuits. And those wires should tuck real nice under our new carbon floor. For our trunk floor, I decided to use a polyurethane foam sheet sandwiched by 2 pieces of carbon fiber. I wet lay it up, and this creates a board that's super lightweight and super strong. And only having 1 layer of carbon on each side makes it really easy to cut and trim as well. And look how it all comes together. See how all the colors are matching? I think you guys are seeing the vision now. Everything turned out nice and clean. I got a couple dry resin spots next to the logo, but we can clean that up. Overall, this is sweet. Now for the sides, I've been kind of playing around for a while. I got all this stuff over here I've been kind of working with. I thought about maybe 3D printing the sides, making the sides out of thermoplastic, maybe doing some thin carbon panels bent, and maybe even doing some foam molding and then wrapping that in carbon. This has all been kind of experimental, but it was kind of getting a little over-engineered. So what I think I'm gonna end up doing is using fabric. So here's the fabric I picked up. It's a nice 3-layer mesh fabric. It's a little bit stretchy, which should help us out a little bit, and it matches the colors. One of the reasons I chose the mesh fabric is it's kind of a subtle hint to the NSXR model. On their shift boot, instead of using leather, they used a mesh fabric literally for weight reduction. So that's kind of a fun fact about the NSXR. I have basically 0 upholstery work experience, so I dove right in. I picked myself up some Type R red threading and started sewing my first seams. Took me a couple tries, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. My fiance even helped me sew on these Velcro patches. So then all we gotta do is attach the fabric to the corresponding Velcro pieces on the firewall. So I got the fabric loosely tucked into place so you guys can see what I'm going for when I finally get everything stitched up. I think it'll be perfect. It's nice, it remains roomy, it's extremely lightweight, and it's functional, which means today's project was a success. Let me know in the comments if you guys like it or if you would have done something differently. And I've got some other good news. In our last video, we secured the K24, and now I got my hands on a K20 transmission. Feast your eyes. This thing is in mint condition. Picked it up for $13.50. This is out of an RSX Type S. So once again, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to Crafting Cars, and I'll see you next Tuesday. I should have the trunk all polished up by then, and we'll start work on the engine bay and the engine itself. Bye-bye.